The Newport Gwent Dragons have struggled in recent years in the Pro 14. Today we're going to look at their history and see how they got to where they are today. So if you do enjoy, subscribe, like and comment which club I should look at next. The regional team were formed on the 1st of April 2003 following an agreement between Ebbw Vale RFC and Newport RFC in form of one of 5 regional rugby entities. Fundamental disagreements between the clubs saw a period of arbitration led by the then Welsh Rugby Union Chief Executive David Moffat, which recommended the name Gwent Dragons. On the 28th of July 2003, the side was launched under that name. The region's ground is the 8,700 capacity Rodney Parade Ground in Newport. So how did they start on the pitch in 2003 in that inaugural season in the Celtic League? Well, under Mike Ruddock and his assistant Clive Griffiths, Newport Gwent Dragons with a squad largely drawn from the Newport RFC and Ebbw Vale RFC sides of the preceding year beat their limited pre-season expectations. Despite starting their life in top-class rugby with a 35-11 defeat away to Llanelli Scarlets, it was the region's most successful season so far. A 29-19 win over the Ospreys was to prove more telling. Captained by Andy Marinos, the side remained unbeaten at home in the Celtic League and eliminated Stade Francais in the Heineken Cup. Going into the final round with an outside chance of taking the title, the Dragons finished 3rd in the Celtic League. Welsh Rugby Union bosses were impressed enough to appoint Ruddock to the vacant Welsh coaching job in the summer of 2004. Ruddock rewarded 2 of his former Dragons players, Hal Luscombe and Jason Forster, with their first test caps on Wales' summer tour of Argentina, and Percy Montgomery also impressed Springboks selectors enough to remind them of his international credentials and earn a Tri-Nations recall. But the following off-season saw a marked change in direction. Gareth Cooper, Kevin Morgan and Kerry Sweeney were amongst a handful of players who joined the region when the Celtic Warriors were disbanded. Having originally agreed to replace Mike Ruddock as head coach, Declan Kidney decided instead to seek employment back home with Leinster. It was not until 27th of July 2004 that former Australian Rugby League coach Chris Anderson was appointed with Lee Jones as his assistant. Another credible Celtic League campaign followed, finishing 4th, the second highest Welsh region. The side's Heineken Cup could be viewed as a wasted opportunity. The team beat French side Perpignan 27-14 at home, but then were beaten away and home by Newcastle Falcons to put paid to any quarter-final ambitions. Chris Anderson's contract was not extended beyond its initial 1-year duration. Jumping forward now 2 years, and in the summer of 2006, former Wales captain Colin Charvis joined with the Dragons, and they progressed into a European Challenge Cup semi-final where they lost comfortably to ASM Clermont-Auvergne. Domestically though, the region's European exploits appeared to take their toll, finishing 9th in the Celtic League. Significantly, the region avoided the prospect of a second season away from the Heineken Cup, defeating another Italian side Calvisano 22-15. The match also marked the end for departing Wales international Ian Goff and Gareth Cooper at Rodney Parade. In the summer of 2008, this marked a change in the Dragons' recruitment policy to a more anti-Podine focus. Several new signings included New Zealander Tom Willis, who was also appointed captain. The 2008-09 Heineken Cup saw visible signs of encouragement for the region. An opening round defeat of Glasgow at Rodney Parade and 2 respectable defeats to French giants Toulouse, sandwiched between narrow losses against Bath, offered hope of arresting decline at Rodney Parade. Domestically in the Celtic League, it was a case of the same old, as consecutive defeats in rearranged matches away at Cardiff Blues and the Ospreys ended any hopes of avoiding finishing as the lowest placed Welsh region and another Heineken Cup playoff against Italian opposition. In record appearance holder Adam Black's final game for the side, the Dragons ran out comfortable winners away to Calvisano to secure their place in European Rugby Premiers Tournament for the 3rd season running. Turner stepped down as head coach in February 2011, with Darren Edwards taking over in a caretaker capacity. In March 2011, Edwards led the Dragons to their first Anglo-Welsh Cup semi-final, where they lost to Gloucester. In April 2011, Edwards was appointed head coach on a full-time basis. Lynn Jones was appointed to the role of Director of Rugby in 2013, taking over a lot of on-field responsibilities. He brought with him then Russia head coach Kingsley Jones, who worked with him as a consultant at London Welsh. Edwards left the Dragons in February 2014, while in June, Kingsley Jones was promoted to the role of head coach. In March 2017, following a vote of Newport RFC shareholders, the Welsh Rugby Union agreed to take over the Newport Gwent Dragons in its entirety as part of a deal that also saw the Welsh Rugby Union take ownership of the Rodney Parade Ground. On the 20th of June 2017, it was announced that the following takeover of the region by the Welsh Rugby Union, the region would be dropping Newport and Gwent from its name with immediate effect, becoming known simply as Dragons. In the summer of 2017, it was announced that former Grenoble coach Bernard Jackman would take over as the new head coach. So far, performances on the pitch have not reflected all the work going on behind the scenes, but after a really good win last weekend against Zebra, things are looking on the up for the Dragons.